Who is she? Who is the Queen of Queens, the driving force behind the whole Xenomorph species? We've seen a lot of variants of the Xenomorph in live action. Been tons of hybrids, human hybrids like the one at the Ends of Resurrection, the Predelian, the Neomorphs. The comic books have some theorized adaptations that have come to live screen. We've got the Woman in Dark. That's been wildly theorized to maybe be in the Alien universe, this crazy goddess. Also the Empress and the King Xenomorphs. The Deacon, who's like an ancestor. But then there's one that the movies simply will not show, because it's really difficult to do so. Hollywood doesn't know how. Because if they were to add this being, it would fundamentally change the lore in a way that maybe they don't want to. What I am about to speak on is the rarest type of Xenomorph in existence. There's only been maybe a handful of them throughout the course of history in the entire lore. Films, comics, blah blah blah, all that. That is the Queen Mother. In other words, the mother of all evil. And no, some could argue, oh, maybe the scariest Xenomorph variant we've seen in the comics is the Flying Queen, because imagine a queen that fucking flies. It's like a dragon, right? That's terrifying. But the Queen Mother is a bit different. The Queen Mother has abilities that are terrifyingly profound. They own the entire hive, and their hives constitute like the space of continents. Borderline entire planets. That's the kind of creature we're dealing with. A creature that births queens like it's nothing. An entire armada of Xenomorphs. In just a few short years, maybe even a couple of months. That's the creature we're talking about here, okay? And may I talk about the size of this thing? If you thought the queen was bad, like, this is the fucking queen, okay? I think the queen should be a little bit bigger. Whoever scales these things online is completely incorrect. They're always incorrect. But if this is the queen and this is the empress, for fuck's sake, look at it! That's a borderline kaiju. Yeah. Who the hell wants to fuck with that? No one. Nobody does. When a hive reaches a massive number of Xenomorphs, a queen will often grow into what is known as a hive mother, a queen mother, the ultimate transformation of the Xenomorph species. It's able to control the entire world's population of aliens. It's able to control all the Xenomorphs. They are her bitches, essentially. If a hive is already large, though, and had a previous queen mother who was killed or removed, her place will be taken and usurped by another queen mother. But that queen mother may have to battle any other queens that are vying for the spot, because the death of the queen mother will cue any Praetorian aliens to molt and take her spot. Molt. You heard me correctly. Xenomorphs, some of them, some specific queens or royal Xenomorphs of high standing can evolve into the queen mother. The hive always finds a way to self-regulate and survive. It will always cause an adaptation within it. That's why the Xenomorphs are some of the most terrifying creatures ever in sci-fi history, because they are a self-adapting, self-replicating mechanism, independent of anyone like the engineers or David. The queen mothers rule hives, and the hives they rule are massive, right? Like I said, continent, planet-wide. They're also said to control every Xenomorph on the planet, including lesser forms of the hive monarch. Queen mothers can produce Xenomorphs at unprecedented rates from their overly large ovipositors. Millions can be born from the queen mother alone in just a few years, not to mention from her subordinate queens. She can she can repopulate an entire planet. One queen mother can do this. That's how fucking insane this creature is, right? And then that brings us to the inevitable point. She can control all the Xenos in the planet? That takes some crazy hive mind power, some telepathic power, you could say. Despite being a really large being, the queen mothers are physically and even telepathically capable. Okay? They can run, pounce, they're fast as fuck, right? But they can also penetrate the minds of humans! Not just Xenos, humans! Using emotional attachments and promises of love and affection to lure them to their dreams. Like a mother to a child, to an infant baby, to a little boy. That's what we're talking about. This being can penetrate our minds, and they can even enter dreams. They can enter our dreams, where they attempt to use their telepathy to influence behavior or otherwise communicate information, wants, and desires. Do you know how fucked up that is? I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to remember this, because we're going to use it. We're going to bring this back over. For this very reason, this ability right here makes this being the hardest to adapt. Imagine you went from, oh, David created the Xenomorphs to, no, we have a Xenomorph goddess queen mother who can go into the minds of all beings, humans and Xenos alike. They can implant dreams within you. You know what this does, right? This retroactively makes David and the engineers look like frauds. Which they are. I've theorized this forever. The Xenomorphs are ancient beings, in my opinion, that have existed prior to the engineers and David. And both the engineers and David were trying to experiment and create their own species. Little did they know that they were refining a process that's already been existing forever. And David, guess what? Oh, I created the Xenos. Oh, no. You were fucking with a species that's beyond you. Because a Xenomorph queen that can telepathically communicate with other humans and aliens? David, you did not create this creature. This was not you. Engineers, you did not create this creature. This is a being that's simply beyond its supposed creators. The Woman in Dark. I always mention this because it's my favorite concept from the comic books, right? The Woman in Dark is a psychic xenomorph hybrid who looks like a woman that enters the dreams of people. People who have survived a xenomorph attack, whether it's a chest burster incident or whatever, they have that trauma and PTSD, and in dreams they can see her among the hive. It's highly theorized that in Alien Earth, Wendy is supposed to take this role. Maybe she might be doing it in season 2. And in the comics, there is a character who gets mutated and turns into a creature that's reminiscent of the Woman in Dark and starts a hive of her own, right? So there are variants, seemingly, of this creature in different mediums. But, I have a theory about this. The Woman in Dark is, what is she? She's a psychic avatar of the Xenomorphs. She's ancient, and she tempts man via its dreams. This is a quote from one of her victims who's seen her in his dreams. I am utterly beneath her notice. In all the universe, she's a queen among lepers, a goddess among maggots, and yet I know she has noticed me. She's looking for me, and even though she's the nearest thing to true evil that exists, the thing that will someday reduce all life to gore and ash, I know that some part of me wants to be found. So in the dream, she can make you desire her, even if you know she is a demon. Satan's prostitute. That's what we're dealing with here. Remember what I said about the Queen Mother's ability to intercept your dreams? What if everyone who's seen the Woman in Dark is seeing a projection from the Queen Mother? It was the Queen Mother all along. Or maybe the few Queen Mothers in all history who've had this ability to transcend the minds of just Xenos and latch themselves and seed themselves into the mind of humans that have been connected to a Xenomorph in some capacity. Yeah. So, if you're a human on the same planet as her, she can just telepathically link to you easily. But if you're far away across the galaxy, but you have had some kind of incident or connection to a Xenomorph, you're plugged into the hive mind now, and she can fuck with you from there. She can lure you in, and she can take the form of this sexy, curved body. Oh, look at my ass. Look how beautiful I am. I'm a Xeno goddess, right? And the humans, the men especially, will be tempted like, oh man, I want to fuck this girl, right? She will tempt you through the dreams. Do you know how scary that is as a concept? She lures prey across the universe using this method. The Queen Mother, by taking the form in the brain of a human hybrid, because that's how humans would see a being like this. They can't comprehend, oh, this creature, right? They can't be seduced by this, so she takes the form of a beautiful, sexy Xeno woman hybrid. She's perfectly laid the trap. This is a high IQ organism beyond the likes of... We have never seen anything like this. Ever. Period. Point blank. Not to mention, if the Queen Mother exists in the movies, this establishes that the Xenos are an ancient species, which completely retcons everything that Ridley Scott did. Another reason why it's going to be hard to adapt this creature. You have to ignore Prometheus and Covenant a little bit, because the Queen Mother's ancient, the Woman in Dark is an ancient Lovecraftian concept in the minds of people. Plus, Queen Mothers have existed across time for so many years, deeply embedded in history. And I don't mean just 10 years, I mean hundreds, thousands of years. To the point where a whole new mutation and strain of Xenomorphs were created from a Queen Mother, from a Queen Mother's hive. The red Xenomorphs, the red Xenomorph Queen Mother is a mutated strain of the traditional black Xenomorphs, and a whole war took place with them on the Xenomorph homeworld. This is a paradox to the idea that David and the engineers created the Xenomorphs and they came from the pathogen. No! If anything, the pathogen came from the Xenomorphs who have been existent forever. That's canon. I don't give a fuck. She's the highest rank. All bow to her. She's the largest, most power, not just physically, but literally she can go into the minds of anyone. She can make all the Xenomorphs her bitches, that she can lure humankind and seduce them through the dreams. What are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? This needs to be adapted into a film. I don't give a fuck. Alien Romulus sequel, you better take us to the Xeno homeworld and show this chick. show the Queen Mother in her prime, okay? I think fans are sick and tired of aliens attacking dumbasses on a ship. We've seen it 7,000 times. And AI making Xenos their bitches. David creating them or Wendy controlling them like dogs. We're done with this shit. I don't want to see the Xenomorphs lose any more aura. The best way to do that is to establish a god-level Xeno being. And I don't mean, oh, this is the next bigger Xenomorph, you know, like this is the next hybrid. Oh, this is the next... No. The Queen Mother is not just a regular queen or just a new hybrid, no. She is the very essence of evil. She's the start of it all. I'm not saying she originated the species, but she is the end result, the end point of the Xenomorph's reproduction. The end of times. We need to, whatever they do, wherever you take, and I'm trying to save the fucking franchise here. If you want to take this franchise into a direction that appeals to the fans, but also adds new things to the lore, take us to Xeno Prime. Take us to the Xenomorph homeworld and introduce the fucking Queen Mother as the villain of it all. Maybe there's multiple Queen Mothers, but I like the idea of one, because it makes it more badass, more aura. And this one is protected by the most lethal kinds of Xenomorphs. That's the other thing. We're going to be seeing multiple Xenomorph variants, not just her, like we've never seen them before, on the Xenomorph homeworld, which we haven't seen yet. Why the fuck haven't we done it? What's wrong with Disney? Noah, in Alien Earth, I need you to hint at the Xeno homeworld, otherwise I'm going to go to the nearest headquarters where you're situated at, and take a shit on your desk, and then smear it all over your face. That's the same with all the Disney executives. You have so much lore in the comic books, and you will never use it, because you're fucking low IQ. You're dumb. You're not smart. In fact, you're just stupid. Give it to us! Bring me the Queen Mother now! And bring me the Xenomorph homeworld. Fuck David, fuck Ridley Scott as well while we're at it. Fuck Wendy too. She needs to be humbled by the true queen of it all. Alright? Those are my thoughts on that. Goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.